So the VACS initiative is an initiative between three different organizations: the U.S. State Department's Department of Global Food Security, Food and Agriculture's Organization of the United Nations, and the African Union. And together with technical partners Colombia, Havos.Ai, and the Shamba Center for Food and Climate, we are interested in identifying new opportunities for crops to contribute to both nutrition and food security. So traditionally, we can think about crops like rice and wheat, really playing, a significant role in food security. And this initiative is really interested in identifying crops that are considered indigenous, traditional, or underutilized, that again can contribute to those important goals of nutrition and food security. So in partnership with the Shamba Center for Food and Climate, one of the things we are really mindful of when it comes to identifying indigenous, underutilized, and traditional crops to contribute to food and nutrition goals is the fact that so much of this knowledge is actually already embedded within organizations like farmers organizations or women's groups, grocery stores, other kinds of value chain actors. And that we need to really go beyond both scientific and technical expertise in order to understand those concerns, the needs, what's really driving the market. So the collaboration with the Shamba Center is designed to work with organizations who are currently based in Africa, working with farmers and their families every single day to identify, those things that we're not going to be able to get basically from the scientific literature and or other technical information. So, I'm planning to do 3 different workshops. The first workshop really focused on understanding how our variety of different organizations working with different crops. Are they working with specific crops actually? Or are they working with value chains? And are they working with food groups? So it was really an investigation to better understand how organizations are already contributing and thinking about traditional underutilized crops. The second workshop will focus much more on some of the regulatory and the policy aspects as well as the bottlenecks, because I think it's really fair to say that we can do all of the best research and development in the world, right? We can really consider how to grow better crops and how they can contribute to food security. But if there's regulatory bottlenecks or other bottlenecks that prevent them from actually getting into the market, right? The cost of those foods, regulations, policies, all of those things, then we really need to know about those ahead of time before we think about where we want to invest more in research and development. So the second workshop is designed to address some of those issues and concerns. And then the third workshop will focus much more on a case study specific to both fonio, quinoa, and teff to understand those value chains a little bit more. Because I don't know if this is common knowledge, if a lot of people know it, but this currently is the International Year of the Millet, right? And that's actually really quite interesting and exciting. What we want to be able to do with kind of that international recognition and designation is better understand what are some of the particular barriers and bottlenecks that contributed to quinoa and quinoa's rise to fame and its availability in markets worldwide. Better understanding what happened with quinoa and how it applies to both teff and fonio can help us understand where we may have made mistakes in the past that we don't want to make in the future when it comes to encouraging these underutilized crops to be adopted worldwide. The outputs from these workshops that we're doing with the Shamba Center for Food and Climate will contribute to the VACS initiative in terms of providing a really important data point, right? Data points that we can't get from the scientific literature. And that's because we need to know much more about what's happening on the ground, right? With different organizations, farmers groups, so on and so forth. And being able to bring that data into the VACS initiative as we're doing the review of scientific information, as we're also looking at, performing different modeling aspects around different crops, provides a different perspective, kind of that really important social perspective that we absolutely need to know as VACS continues and thinks about bringing forward different underutilized and traditional crops into both kind of the policy arena, the research and development arena, and then hopefully eventually into the market spaces.